Well, hello, Troy Francis coming at you from London town. It's golden hour here in Chelsea, and I wanted to do a quick video about complimenting girls because it seems like a lot of guys who come to this material, the self-help dating material, get a little bit autistic around the whole issue of should I compliment, should I not compliment? And the reason that it becomes a problem is because they learn early on about something called simping, okay? And the way that simping is sort of percolates through into the consciousness of most people is, oh shit, if I say anything nice to her, if I compliment her, if I say she looks great, she looks beautiful, whatever, that means I'm a simp, and basically that means I'm beat her and she's going to lose attraction for me and she's going to go and have sex with the pool boy, blah de blah de blah. And also as well, because a lot of the time people will talk about this sort of bad boy aesthetic and how bad boys are attractive and all this kind of thing. I think guys sort of take it to this level where they think, well, again, you know, I can't say anything nice, I can't be complimentary at all, because if I am, then that's going to relegate my bad boy stakes and she's going to lose attraction and the whole thing's going to go to shit, you know. As I say, really, this is autistic thinking. Again, what you've got to recognize is that this stuff is very nuanced, okay? It's not black and white. All right, it's not black and white. We're talking about human emotion here. There's a whole range of different things. There's a whole range of different shades between black and white, okay? So, in my view, complimenting is great. I think you should compliment. I don't think you should be over the top and be like, oh God, you're so beautiful. Oh my God, baby, you're the sexiest woman I've ever seen, and all of that kind of thing. You know, you don't want to come across like the cheesy waiter at the tourist destination or whatever. At the same time, I think you need to own the fact that you find her attractive. I think that's absolutely fine. Think about it this way, right? Remember, the whole point of the dating process is it's a value exchange, okay? So you have a certain amount of value, she has a certain amount of value, obviously, because you approached her, so presumably she's attractive, you know, you like her in some way, but you have value as well, okay? And as we always say, irrational self-confidence always wins through, right? Irrational self-confidence, okay? You have that supreme confidence in yourself as a guy who's working on his mission, who's on his purpose, who's self-improving the whole time, etc., etc. Okay, so you're coming in from that frame. I'm a high-value guy. That's the frame that you're operating within, okay? Now, within that frame, is it okay to be complimentary? Sometimes. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, now what you've got to remember is the old dictum, you want her, you're attracted to her, you want her, but you don't need her. Okay, so imagine if, we always go back to the same examples here. Imagine if Brad Pitt or Leo or, you know, Ronaldo or one of these dudes, you know, he's dealing with a woman, he meets a woman in a nightclub, whatever. He's dealing with her, he says, hey, listen, I've got to say, you're really pretty. I've got to say, you look awesome in that dress. You look sexy in that dress. Whatever, right? Do you think she's going to lose attraction for him because he complimented her on her aesthetics? Of course she isn't, absolutely not. Why not? Because he's high enough value that, well, I mean, let's be frank, those guys could kind of say anything they wanted to and they would still be fine, but you get the general idea, okay? Your value is so high that you can say these things, okay? And she takes it as a compliment. Because remember the other thing as well, these interactions are meant to be man to woman, okay? You do desire her, all right? You do desire her. That needs to be clear. Now again, as I say, don't take this too far. It's not about being super over the top, you know, like the cheesy waiter, like, oh my God, baby, you're so beautiful, oh wow. You know, you don't want to go too far with it, but it's fine to sprinkle in little compliments to underline the fact that you are sexually attracted to her, okay? And this could be within the initial approach, it could be on the first date, it could be after you guys have started to casually see one another, whatever. It's absolutely fine. In fact, I think that you should do it because it's authentic to what you're thinking, right? And what you're feeling. Because if you're with her, if you're dealing with her, the truth of the matter is you do think she's attractive, because otherwise you wouldn't be. So why not say it? You know, and this is the problem, you know, because guys learn a bit about these social dynamics and they get so in their head about it, and then they end up actually filtering themselves. And remember, what we want to be doing here is not becoming less ourselves. We want to be becoming more ourselves. We want to be more authentic. We want to be more honest. We want to be more open about what we feel and what we think and how we view her and how we view the world. Now, listen, you know, if she does take umbrage at it, and you lose a girl because maybe you went a little bit too far. Okay, fine, whatever. It's not the end of the world, right? And that's the attitude you should have. Again, you want her, but you don't need her. So look, you could afford to kind of say what you want to say. You can afford to say what you want to say. If you want to be complimentary, be complimentary. If you don't. But again, I would argue, I would strongly suggest that if you're dealing with her, the truth of the matter is, you probably do think she's beautiful. You probably do think she looks sexy in that dress, because otherwise, why would you be with her? Okay? Don't filter yourself. All right? Don't filter yourself, because when you're filtering yourself, you're not being authentic, and she's going to feel that. Okay? We were talking to a dude who we're working with on one of our programs at the moment, and he was saying he was with this woman. He was dating her for like 2 years, maybe even 3 years or something like that. And apparently, through the entire duration of that relationship, he never once told her that she looked beautiful. Okay, I mean, to me, that just seems crazy, all right? 3 years, and you never tell her even that she looks attractive. And it was almost as if, for him, it was this badge of honor, this pride, like, I'm so alpha, I never gave in, I never gave her that satisfaction. But can't you see how, A, that in itself is manipulative because you're holding back, and B, you're not being authentic to yourself, you're not being honest, all right? The high-value guy is going to be completely open, right? The high-value guy, if he thinks she looks sexy, he's going to say, hey, you look sexy, okay? Because he's not afraid of losing her for any reason. He's not afraid of losing her for being too complimentary, and he's also not afraid of losing her for being uncomplimentary either. It's a subtle thing, but I hope you can get where I'm coming from here. You've got to be unfiltered, because if you're being filtered, if you're holding back, then that in itself is low value, right? That in itself is beta, if you want to use that terminology. So, look, just take the stuff that you read online, you hear in videos and stuff, take it with a bit of a pinch of salt. I'm not saying for 1 second to blow smoke up our ass and be like, oh my God, I'd lay down my life for you, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, I would give you my entire fortune, I would sell my parents' house and give you the money. Don't go too far with it, but at the same time, you've got to be unfiltered and you've got to be honest, all right? Because otherwise, you're being a bit of a cuck because you're holding back on, what you actually think and what you actually feel. And remember, the guy who is the raw sort of alpha masculine dude is not going to give a damn about any of that stuff, Of course he thinks she's sexy, right? Women like to be admired. Women like to be desired, all right, by the right guy. If you're the right guy, and, again, if she's kind of dealing with you, presumably you are, presumably she reciprocates your feelings towards her, then she's going to want to hear that stuff from you, okay? So, bit of a rant. I hope this all makes sense. I mean, I hope you kind of get where I'm coming from. And, again, people will be like, oh, right, so I've got to pay loads of compliments. Right, I'll go the other way. And I'll just go really over the top. Don't do that either. But just don't be so stilted and sort of second guessing everything the whole time, because that in itself is a problem. That kind of stiffness, that analysis paralysis that we get because we've read some material online or we've seen some videos, we watch some Red Pill panel show and we think, oh, right, so to be a high value man, I need to not do this. And so, it's too robotic, it's too structured. You're not being in yourself. You're being in your head, you're not being in your body, and you're not being authentic to yourself, okay? And that is no good. So, if you've got any questions on this, put them below, or you can drop me an email, troy@realtroyfrancis.com. If you'd like to do some coaching with me, you absolutely can. You can jump on a free 15-minute call with me. The link is below. Subscribe to the channel and press the notifications bell, because God knows I'm probably massively shadow banned on here. And I'll see you guys again very soon. Bye-bye.